been a hobo for 24 years. I've smiled many smiles and I've shed many tears. I never even knew my mom or my dad, and the bum from New York was the best friend I ever had. Well, I've rode more freight trains than you've probably seen. I've rode trains when engines were powered with steam. I've slept in a flat car on a bed of cold steel. And at night in the boxcars I've seen men die. And I've seen men kill. I'll ride on like a hobo should. Well, I've cooked my dinner on the fire beside the tracks. I've slept side of white men, the yellows and the blacks. I've listened to their stories till way in the night. The stories of hobos, their loves and their fights. Well, I've learned life is life, and you are what you are. I never flew in no airplane, and I don't drive no car. But I'll hop on the next train when I've nowhere to go. And that's exactly why they call me just a hobo. So I'll ride on, I'll ride on like a hobo should.
Youngster, I was fascinated by the tales my grandfather related to me about hobo life. His house was near the railroad tracks where a hobo jungle was situated. He used to see all kinds of men from all walks of life enter the jungle. Gramps and I often walked for hours while he reminisced about his past.
Look here, Ben. Here's one of their signs. They're pretty hard to decode, except to hobos. I hate to brag, but I know 'em all. This here one means it's a good house for getting a lump. Bet you don't know what that means.
I had to admit I didn't know what that particular sign meant. Gramps went on to explain that this hobo sign was a good one, that the house was an easy touch for a meal.
A lot of guys just drift from town to town, you know, hiding from sight in the shadows, afraid of life. They're trying to hide themselves in a bottle. Well, I don't drink. I don't drift. I come down here when I'm put out of a job, you know, and broke.
Stock market crashed with a lot of people. Some killed themselves, some didn't. And those of us that were left barely held on to life. A guy down and out doesn't ask for much. Sometimes all he needs is a little warmth, both physical and spiritual. A discouraged man, bone tired from walking the streets, needs a place to relax and recharge his mind and body. Bread lines like this became a necessity for millions.
Bread and gravy were my diet in those days, and damn lucky to get it.
I'm a working Joe, out of a job, out of luck, but I'm not ready to lie down and die. Not as long as there's a place like this, where I can rest and have a feed. I can still keep going.
It's a hell of a pain when you're down on your luck. You ain't had a handout in days. Ain't no use to look for work anymore. There just ain't anything. That son of a bitch don't look like he ever missed a meal. Choked, the bastard. Uh-oh, he sees me looking in at him. He's the type, if he did give me a meal, he'd put on a big show, make a public spectacle out of me. Would make no difference. I take all of his guff. Hunger is always worse than humiliation. The greasy pig. He's making me sick. Why is he making trouble for me? I ain't looking for trouble. All I want is something to eat. I better keep moving before they call the cops. This is an upper-class neighborhood. A bum ain't got no business here is the way they see it. I'd like to get my hands on a gat. I'd show those bastards with money. I'd stick them up, grab their dough, and rap them over the head. Hell, I'd never have the guts. I'm just dreaming. I was once in this mission. The place was full of stiffs, all in one big room. The guy next to me had a gat. He was talking about pulling a job. He was nervous and shaking. I wanted to grab the gat out of his hand. He left for the John. A few minutes later, there was a shot. I went over to look, and it was him. He just laid there in a pool of blood. He'd blown his head off. It was a stinking mission that did it. All missions are stinking. Just a bunch of bums waiting for nothing. I didn't know what was going on. Got the hell out of there and hit the streets again. Here it's almost Christmas and lots of folks hungry and no place to go. Soon it'll be snowing. Snowing and holidays.
You must remember that when an army marched on Washington, they must have had a good reason. Oh yeah, this is one of the most terrible parts of American history. MacArthur went in there. Hoover ordered him in, but he went in there and he chased them all out. He didn't care American flags or anything else. They were starving. That's what they marched down there. There was no jobs for them. There was no work.
Let's eat. People see us bows as bums. Well, maybe some of us are, but me, I don't go looking for handouts. I work for anything I get. I offer to chop wood or do some chores for food and a little spending money.
Coffee's ready, Slim.
Boston stew's pretty
Mary's
good.
one of the few women bogues. Aren't many of them. Life's too tough for them, I guess. Women just want to marry and raise kids. Ain't in their nature to be loners or rough it. Mary was illegitimate and had no home life. Maybe that's what made her into a bogue. Who knows? She does all the housewifely chores like washing clothes, cleaning up and such. The hobo jungle is her home now, and we're sort of her husbands.
But if you're broke, they don't want to know you. So I don't want any part of their good life. Take Slim over there. He knows how to have a good time. He rolls his own smokes with an aspirin in it. Gets him high, he says. Slim doesn't have many buddies. Doesn't want any. He's living from day to day. Maybe we all are.
I like it here in the jungle. It's like one big happy family. You eat and you smoke and you drink and you talk. Real family-like. I'd rather be here than in one of those missions they have in town. They're nerve-wracking. You hear the same old junk every day. Reform, hellfire, damnation. Who needs it?
living was peddling these apples. Every corner in New York, down through the financial districts, they had their boxes and their apples. You give them what you wanted. You give them a nickel, you give them a quarter.
In the morning, I usually pedal down the road a piece and look for junk along the way, and sometimes I make a good haul of about 35 cents or more. Look around for bottles and some old pieces of tin. Well, that's not bad for an hour's work, you know. Enough to get a meal and a bottle of wine. Just enough to get me through the day.
You have a good day, Jack?
Oh, so. Found me a couple of bottles and old copper tea kettle.
Paying good money for copper.
Yeah, they are paying pretty good these days.
And keeping the old body together, I pick up newspapers and rags.
Yeah, you've got quite a load there. Well, I gotta be on my way, Todd. I gotta sell these trinkets and get going.
Have you got to hurry?
Yeah, I gotta go. I'll see you now, Todd.
Well, so long, Jack.
Okay. I want to show you something.
May I see that one?
Yes, that's 5 cents.
Yes, I'll take it, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No, not today.
I just don't like dogs. I remember the time I went to this home. It was so out by itself out there, and I went and knocked on the door, and before the door was open, this dog jumped at me. Oh yeah, a lot of guys on the road are just bums, lush heads. They bum, steal, kill, do anything. They are crazy. That's why I don't ride the rails anymore. And also because I lost my eye being hit by a hot cinder from the engine. Yeah, I've been out to the coast 100 times. Why spend dough on a bus or a train when you can tumble your way around through? You know, you make it in less than a week. I hitchhike all the time. Sometimes I think my hiking days are about through in America.
When you run out of rhymes and reason, why and why not?
Yes, sirree. I'm going to settle down for a while at a job, maybe. But, you know, then again, I get the urge to travel again. Hit the road again, or go around looking for any kind of job. But I'm afraid those dogs will bite me again. Those darn dogs, they really come after you. Being on the road like this 24 hours a day, just bumming around.
For attaining the dreams of your youth. There is the road to welcome your load. Just the clothes on your back and your bindle sack. When you've lost the world famous, time-honored, idolized buck, and to minds that are smaller than yours, well, you've run out of luck. What you find if you didn't cop out is an uncluttered sky. The alternatives still are the same.
a stiff, a tramp, and a bum. Well, you no longer care if they care, or if they know where you're from. For your values can change when you haven't enough to eat. And you know why a man has his wits, his hands and his feet.
The water tank's a Bo's bulletin board. All those markings all mean something to a man of the road. With one quick glance, you can tell all you need to know about the town and the freight yard. Some of the yards don't care if a Bo is trying to get a ride. Of course, we don't want to steal anything, just steal a ride.
Times ain't getting any better. A lot of hard times. Where you headed?
For the fruit picking.
We're scheduled at 3:10. We're pulling out in 10 minutes.
Didn't hear.
Pulling out in 10 minutes.
Give us a smooth ride.
Sometimes guys on the road will break into boxcars and cause trouble, but they ain't real Bo's. We call them bindle stiffs. They'll even stick up a poor Bo and rob him of what little he has.
I always ride alone. There's always some sort of trouble that crops up at the boxcars. I don't want no trouble, so I stay away from it.
Can't blame the railroad bulls all the time. Some of them are downright mean, though. They just won't give you a chance. Then on the other hand, if a Bo dies on railroad property, the railroad is stuck for the burial expenses.
On a day it was close to raining, and down the track came a railroad train, and on the train was a box of pine, carrying a friend of yours and mine. Hobo John's going home, going home. Hobo John's going home. Coming to the yard was Green River Slim. This time John won't be fearing him. The Southern Pacific and the Rock Island Line will whistle farewell for the very last time. Hobo John's going home, going home. Hobo John's going home. Railroad land was where he died, so the Union Pacific gave him one last ride. This all that train was a box of pine, riding the rails for the very last time. Hobo John's going home, going home. Hobo John's going home. Hobo John's going home, going home. Hobo John's going home.
You stiffs are all alike. You talk big and you act big. But you're small with a capital S.
Ah, shut up. You'll blow a gasket.
That's the trouble with you bums. Nothing but smart-ass words. No action. You're more like me and get off your dead butt and make somebody alive.
The only thing you've ever made of your life is one big mess.
Oh, yeah, wise guy? Let me tell you something. I used to be a big shot in the IWW union.
Oh, sure.
What does the IWW mean?
I won't work.
You national workers of the world. I used to know Joe Hill personally.
Who's Joe Hill?
You never heard of Joe Hill?
Never did.
Hell, he was one of the top dogs among the workers of the World Union. You know the Wobblies. That was his songbook, the little red songbook that the Wobblies carried. It was about 1915, I think, somewhere in Utah. Accused him of killing a grocer in Salt Lake City.
Feared his
during the
power.
holdup.
And so he had to die. He fell before a firing squad beneath a Utah sky.
He died not for the robbery and murder as accused, because he was
A wobbly.
those who might have helped refused.
Well, he swore that he was innocent. But he wouldn't tell them why. And so for a married woman and his silence, he would die.
To all his little red songbook was the guiding light he left. The workers of the world would sing his songs and not forget.
The men of the road remember him still.
Aim.
And always they will.
Fire.
Sing the ballad of Joe Hill.
My will is easy to decide, for there is nothing to divide. My kin don't need to fuss and moan. Moss does not cling to rolling stone. My body, if I could choose, I would to ashes it reduce, and let the merry breezes blow my dust to where some flowers grow. Perhaps some fading flowers then would come to life and bloom again. This is my last and final will. Good luck to all of you. Joe Hill.
People see the hobo as a no-good, hopeless bum. But in fact, he can't give up if he's going to remain self-sufficient. He always has to know where to find water, how to trap a rabbit like the old-time trappers, just how to keep himself alive. In early history, the hobo at least served the function. He was cheap labor for the Midwestern wheat farmer, the Gandy dancer who laid rail in the Northwest, the muscle that worked the labor camps and the big farms. To me, the hobo is the last of the pioneers. Gramps told me of a place in Iowa called Britt, where the hobos still meet every year and hold a national convention. I decided to hop a freight and become a part-time beau. This way I would get some first-hand knowledge of hobo life. The convention isn't until the 23rd of August, so I have about 3 weeks of hoboing.
Fifth Street is the most fantastic street. I've been all over the world, and I hit a lot of skid rows, and I like it right here. I've been around here 10 years. I got all my friends. I was a sergeant in World War II. I wasn't chicken. I got the Purple Heart. But this civilian life, I couldn't adjust to civilian life. You see,
this is the third largest Skid Row area in the country. Chicago's Madison Avenue, that's the biggest. But the weather's too cold there. San Francisco is the second. But me, I like it right here.
In a row? Yeah. What for? Huh? What you step decide what you want.
Now, the cops aren't hard on winos. They help most of them.
A guy goes down, see? A cop comes along, wakes him up, wrestles him into the wagon, and they book him. Well, the guy may get a few days, a little fine, but he gets a haircut, a shave, gets all cleaned up, comes out, starts again. But the things really start at the beginning of the month when the pensions come. A lot of these guys are pensioners. I'm a pensioner.
No, I have all five.
To be realistic about it, well, let me put it this way. Most guys down here know the score.
Every night you get up while going, whoa.
We're the patients that nobody wants. The drunken derelict on Skid Row. Yeah. The typical derelict is in his middle 40s and maybe a 20-year veteran of the row. Me, I've been here 10 years. I tell you, after every war, there's always a lot of young guys end up here. We're even getting young guys, kids from Vietnam now. He's probably an educational dropout and was married at some time. He's had so much time in and out of jail on drunk charges that it's said he's serving a life sentence on the installment plan.
Take off.
Yeah, look.
I'd say about a third of them are schizophrenic. A third are suffering from personality disorders. Some are paranoid. Over half have TB or some other chronic lung diseases. And most of them have bad livers. Hey, look over there, look.
There. That's what happens when a drunk lays too long. They'll strip him. That drunk wagon must be on a break. You know, on a good night, the drunk wagon will haul in 35 to 40 winos.
Yeah, most true hobos would be insulted to live here.
Yeah, once in a while a hobo will drift through here. But most of them stay up in the railroad yards or the countryside. They're a different bunch from us. You listen to that guy. I don't think he'll see through till morning. Reminds me when I was a kid looking for a job in this big city. I didn't have no place to stay, so I stayed in a flop house. And this guy was making a noise. Like that, you know? It's a real funny, lousy noise.
How the hell is a guy supposed to get some rest at this time?
He's got the death rattle. It's just a matter of time. He's dying from malnutrition.
It ain't a stiff dying, it's these damn dead bugs biting at you.
Hey, kid, take these newspapers. Lay them on the mattress. It'll keep the bugs down.
rattlesnakes. Damn bugs. Damn flop. Damn noise.
About time the white coats got here.
Well, that's about the only funeral a Bo will ever get.
Yeah. If you might turn and watch.
Hell of a funeral, ain't it?
Damn if it ain't time to leave.
Guess we better hit the street again.
Yeah.
Look at that poor soul. He's got the shakes. The canned heat must have got to his nerves. You buy the stuff for 10 cents a can.
Hey, that's poison.
Right. It's a hell of a way to go.
He doesn't look too good to me.
Now, when a guy has had all those ups and downs, any kind of relief is welcome. And this stuff lets him sleep. Bed bugs don't bite him. He doesn't even feel the heat. Those guys will rob jalopies just to get the goddamn antifreeze out of it.
What?
Yeah. Hey, kid, how about a cigarette?
Huh? Yeah, thanks.
Well, I guess you're right. We better hit the street. Sounds like it stopped raining.
I was in pretty good shape in those days, you know. I was just a kid. I was pretty good looking, too. I never had any trouble with the girls. But it just seemed, you know, that nothing ever went right for me. Like I was born under one of them bad stars. Now, well, it's like me, well, like the wino in a bottle. You ever wonder why the wino always keeps the bottle in the bag, kid? It's because he don't want to see the end coming.
Mama, don't run. Daddy, don't brood. Fighting is done. Fighting for work and food. Babies, don't cry. There's no bread lines, no terrible headlines, no suicides. There's no depression in heaven, no depression in heaven. Mama, look up. Daddy, you too. Hold up your cup and see it fill anew. Children don't hide, and people don't fear. So carry your pride. Carry it on away from here. And there's no depression in heaven. No, there's no depression in heaven.
See now, it's still a jungle out there, but it's a different kind. One a bow can't make it in. Well now, you see, we've been sort of like victims of industry, industrialization. We can't make it like we used to. A hobo could live in a pasteboard box or a moving boxcar. But modern times, the freights make long hauls. It ain't like it used to be when they'd stop every 50 miles for water for the boilers, give a beau a chance to board them boxcars and get off to visit a nearby jungle. See, I've been sitting here about 15 years now, right here on this corner, and I know everybody who walks up and down here. And sometimes we have good days.
Yeah, you know, the winter months were the worst. Some of the guys froze to death. We used to huddle around little fires trying to keep warm from the wind and the cold. I remember in Denver, we used to crawl in these big brick ovens, you know, trying to keep warm from the cold and the snow. Well, that was after the fires were out, of course. Some of the bulls suffocated from the fumes.
I can see you had it tough.
Tough? That ain't the word for it, kid. Boys, I guess you're too young to remember the old steam trains as they puffed their way out of the freight yard, fire shooting up out of the stacks. They made a pretty picture to some folks. Those were the days. We really had some times. Old Scooter had some times. Here, let him tell.
Fellas, I'm going to tell you, I have made 1,000,000 miles. Strong miles. I've been all over the country. I rode in boxcars when it was cold and I'd freeze to death. And I've been in there when it was so hot I couldn't move. I'd try to get me a drink of water, bottle of water, anything to drink.
It ain't no fun either when the bulls run you out of town and you're hiding waiting to catch a drag. Yeah, sometimes those old steam locos really came barreling down those rails. There was 5 of us once when this engine came puffing, hell-bent down the tracks. We could see it was coming too fast. Suddenly, the stiff next to me jumped up, started for his run. He was spooked. Just wanted to catch that drag. He lunged out and grabbed the back of the car, and it threw him down and around right between the cars. We could tell he was practically dead.
I don't feel cold anymore.
Yeah, he was a greenhorn.
Christ, he should have known better than to grab the back of the car. He always grabbed the front. Then the motion from the train throws you against the side, knocked down between the cars.
Sometimes you make it, and sometimes you won't. It's hard to make it when you're riding them tracks. It's hard to make it when you're riding them tracks.
Well, I'll tell you, kid. You see, look, buddy, old buddy, here's the way it was. There were whole families out on the road, whole damn families, you understand? Little kids, big kids, the whole damn caboodle, all out of work. No jobs for anybody anymore. But they, hell, they had to keep looking. What else, you know, what else could you do? Well, one night, kid, we were down here sitting in this hobo jungle. We were just sort of sitting there.
Look at us. We're a bunch of stiffs sitting here. Just need a willie.
We're just a few wolves among many. There must be at least 100 or so of them lined up down this gully, just waiting for nothing.
God, I wish they'd do something about that kid. He's got the croup, needs a doctor.
That's the Miller family. Just talked to the poor people a few hours ago. Christ, I wish we could do something to help them. Poor kid's gonna die.
This goddamn stew. Starving dog wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, it doesn't do nothing for my stomach either. Boy, I sure wish I was home. My whole family got wiped out in the crash. Pa just wasn't any good anymore. He just
Damn hard times.
lost
Will
his
this
business.
depression ever get over with?
That was it. That was about a year ago. I've been on the road about a year and a half now. I wonder if they're still alive.
Christ, it's cold.
I don't want to go home. I
wish to hell we could get out of here.
All right, Coupon. You got just 5 seconds to get out of here.
Poor damn stiffs.
One's a cripple, and it ain't his fault.
Damn bulls. They don't even try to understand. Nothing we can do as long as they've got those gats.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to the Miller family.
Hey, Bo. Ooh. I want to tell you, boy, I thought I'd never make it out of that gully. You see, I had got my knees hurt the night before. My kid brother and I, we had got on a passenger train in Thistle Junction, Utah, on the old DNR GW. Now, trying to escape the bulls, we had missed grabbing on to the back end of the diner car that had a ladder right on up to the top of it there. So, I had my brother then climb up on top of my shoulders and get all the way up on top of the coach. You see, that way, we could ride clean through the division points. And the bulls, hell, they wouldn't know nothing. So then, I started to try to climb up myself, between the coaches. I had my legs propped under me like this, between the cars. And just as I was in that position, she started going around a bend, heading on up toward Soldier Summit. I was on the inside of the curve, so the coaches, they come closer together, like this, mashing in tons of steel. And, oh, Jesus, the pressure on my knees. Sweet Jesus, boy, I damn near passed out. God, dear God, if I had, I would have dropped straight down between the wheel trucks. There'd been nothing left but hamburger. Lord. So you see, I was in a hell of a shape that next day in Grand Junction. The bulls chased us out of that gully. Then, later on, when my brother and me, we went out to catch a freight train, I was sick as a dog and lame as hell. So I wasn't careful about my running path ahead as usual I was. Not only that, first thing up here come a whole damn long string of tanker cars. 3 big old Malley engines are pulling and puffing away. And just as I run out to grab that first boxcar, coming up, about to grab the ladder, I can tell you, boys, she was really balling the jack. And then, just as I was reaching to grab onto the ladder on the front end of the box, Jesus, I smashed into a switch stand about 5 foot high, right across my right shoulder. And it rolled me right under the freight train. My poor brother, he saw it all. He come running up, cursing, crying, all hysterical. And I said, God damn it, son. I said, go jump up and run for help. So my brother, he jumped up all confused and excited, and he stumbled. And then he fell, and a goddamn boxcar smashed him right square in the head. Well, later on, I tried to reach our folks. They were gone. They buried my brother Grand Junction. I lost the best buddy that I ever had. Well, since then, I've just been drifting with the tide. The other two beaux, they left me at Grand Junction. I had to have surgery on my leg at St. Mary's Hospital, and they... Oh, hey, come on, kid. Licorice? Huh? Hey, I'll show you a shortcut out to the railroad yards. You can hang yourself a freight out there heading east, okay? Well, I'll tell you, I got the name Poison Ivy Bob. I've been living off and on in these old caves for 15 years now. Yeah, they run for miles out to the openings. Indians dug them out. I never really cared too much to learn the history about it, but, yeah, there've been a lot of beaux spent a lot of time down in here. I'm about the only one left now. You see, there's a lot of poison ivy camouflaging the cave openings. That's how come they call me Poison Ivy Bob. But hell, I'm immune now. Hey, kid, you ever eat the Hobos special, bread and jam?
No, I can't say I have.
You see here? Now, you jam them together. There you are, bread and jam. It's good, too.
Well, Bob, I hope to get back this way someday and talk with you some more.
Hey, kid, you'll have to scale the wall outside, but you'll make it. I'm going to take the tunnel the other way, out to the bakery. They're always good for a handout. So long, buddy. So long.
Good luck. Leaving for the railroad track, and I won't be coming back, 'cause I've got too far to go alone. I'm talking to the ones I meet.
Come on out, we want to play with ya. Hey, Mr. Bum, come on out, we want to talk to ya. Yeah, we want to talk to ya. Come on out, come on out. We want to play with ya. Come on out, please. Please.
Hey, mister, is that Bum with the wood pole leg still up in that cave?
Yeah, he's a good old Bob.
How did he lose his leg? Was it cut off somehow?
Well, he hurt his leg on a train trying to hop a ride on a freight. Yep.
Hey, mister, come out, we want to talk to ya. We want to talk to ya. Come on out. Hey, Mr. Bum, we want to talk to you. Come on out.
Well, that's the way to traveling down the railroad tracks is I suppose I'll get to where I'm going, though it can be hard when you're not knowing if the weather changes. Will I still be safe and warm? But I'll keep my reason and keep going. I'm thinking as I move along, running free is like a song. And I've made these tracks a home to me. Well, I'm on my way to see the king. It's something like a hobo's dream. Walking down the railroad.
How long have you been bumming around, kid?
Oh, I've been bumming around for about 3 weeks now. I'm heading up to the convention in Britt.
Say hello to Boxcar Murder. Tell her Shakespeare says hi. Hey, will you be quiet? We're not talking, we'll be quiet. Thank you. You know, Sonny, there are very few of us left. You might say we're the last of the American hobos.
You say that again.
We're dying off. Too few of us. Just Skid here, Freddy, the poet, and me.
Well, what do you mean? I've seen a few beaux.
Oh, well, maybe I'm pulling your leg a little, Sonny, but what I mean is there's very few of the real old-time bows left.
You mean I won't see any in Britt?
You'll be lucky if you see one.
That's
Right,
for sure.
Right, Henry.
That convention at Brett, it ain't what it used to be. There's only a few of the bows show up. Those folks in Brett, they're just using them. Those folks wouldn't give a bow a few bucks, or even an old suit for his trouble. They skid past about it. You know, I wouldn't be seen dead in Brett with those so-called bows, those winos. They throw on a few old clothes and trade around for a day, then you don't see anything more of them again for another year.
That's right, Henry. That's right.
You're damn right I'm right. Hell, even the election is a farce. You know, the audience, they clap and they holler, all just a bunch of guys around there dancing and singing like a bunch of fools. That ain't what it used to be.
It sure ain't. How all occasions do inform against us. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts in this goodly frame the earth, this most excellent canopy the air, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with gold and fire. Yes, one man in his time plays many parts. For my part, I could not see me playing out the part of the 9-to-5 clock puncher. Or Henry, poetically speaking, would it be better for me to say, for my part, I could not see me playing the in and out, out and in part of the 9-to-5 clock puncher.
That would depend entirely what you were drinking.
Or how much? I had to see what was over that next hill, to see what was coming. And then another hill, and another, and another, and another. I wandered up into the heavens of mystery across the fields of time. I wander near my path of past, wander near ivy falls. I wander years to come we do down to the sandy water's edge. Wandering under the foliage of autumn, wandering over space of countryside. Wonder is freedom. We wander between the sands of time. Yes, we wander with him forever. Wander is lovely as he made it be in this goodly frame the earth, this most excellent canopy the air, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Wander is lovely. What a piece of work is man. I'm grateful that he gifted some of us with the curiosity of the wanderer. That old adage, curiosity killed the cat, is for the birds. Wander is about as close to paradise as I can imagine.
In the big rock candy mountains, it's a land that's fair and bright. The handouts grow on bushes, and you sleep out every night. The boxcars are all empty, and the sun shines every day. I'm bound to go where there ain't no snow, and the sleet don't fall, and the wind don't blow on the big rock candy mountain. Oh, the buzzing of the bees in the cigarette trees, by the soda water fountain, by the lemonade springs where the bluebird sings on the big rock candy mountain. In the big rock candy mountains, you never change your socks. Little streams of alcohol come trickling down the rock. Oh, the shacks all have to tip their hats, and the railroad poles are blind. There's a lake of stew and ginger ale too, and you paddle around it in a big canoe in the big rock candy mountain. Oh, the buzzing of the bees in the cigarette trees, by the soda water fountain, by the lemonade springs where the bluebird sings on the big rock candy mountain. In the big rock candy mountains, the cops have wooden legs, the bulldogs have all rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs. the boxcars are all empty and the sun shines every day. I'm bound to go where there ain't no snow, where the sleet don't fall and the wind don't blow, in the big rock candy mountain. Oh, the buzzing of the bees in the cigarette trees, by the soda water fountain, by the lemonade springs where the bluebird sings on the big rock candy mountain. By the lemonade springs where the bluebird sings.
As I look up at the sign here, I can visualize some of the stories that I've heard about the old hobos that have reigned here. Yeah, they were sure a colorful bunch of characters. I can just hear them now telling some of their
Jeff
tales.
was a publicity hound.
So what? He made out all right.
Yeah, Jeff was our most famous king.
camera,
What you
camera.
mean, king? He was never king. Self-appointed, maybe, but never elected. Of course he was king. Oh, boo.
I'm going to demonstrate the fine art of panhandling. Now, don't crowd me, don't crowd me. I need plenty of room to work. Now, listen carefully. I'm going to plant this poultry pastry at yonder trolley stop. Now, when I spy a member of the opposite sex approach, for they are indeed easy marks, I will dive for the donut and devour it greedily. The lady will be so overwhelmed with my disastrous act that she will be compelled, her heart palpitating, she will be compelled to offer me a most generous contribution. Ah. Here come a couple of suckers now. Observe me very carefully.
All right, girls, come on. That's good, girls.
Where's the gopher?
Jeff, go for the donut.
Why, you poor tramp, you must be starving to death. How could you eat that horrible donut?
It isn't easy.
Here's a little something to help tie Joe.
Oh, bless you. Bless you, ladies. Bless you. Bless you, ladies. Bless you.
Here's a little something extra for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Bum.
Oh, bless you, ladies. Your kindness has petrified the tongue.
Cut, Jeff, cut. Print that shot. Roll the trolley.
He was too crazy to become king. He was mad for publicity. One time he had a picture took of him shaving with a piece of glass. Now nobody can shave with a piece of glass.
Well, he was a pretty smart king. Made it to Hollywood, didn't he? They filmed his life stories in the movies.
What was that sidekick of his name?
Hustling Vance. Was he ever dumb?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Jeff took care of him like a little brother. Jeff took care of anybody. If there was a buck to be made in it.
Cut! That's a print! Wrap it up!
Winos, quit draining that bottle. I'll tell you about a true king. King Ben Benson. He set us hobos a good image. That's why we elected him king.
Good image? Nah. He just likes to hear himself talk.
Yep.
Selling war bonds, the endless war of all wars. With pleasure, I introduce King Ben Benson. Thank you very much. Fellow Americans, our friend and I are both working for a common cause, for God and country. Though I think our friend here may be a little prejudiced in favor of you-know-who. I'm a hobo, but being a hobo doesn't make me any less patriotic than the next man. In fact, I think I am more patriotic, and I'll tell you why. I have traveled the length and breadth of these United States many times, and I know it's a great country. In fact, I believe it is the greatest country on earth. This wonderful country has given me a freedom that no other country can offer. It has given you freedom.
And I am willing to fight for that freedom. And I am fighting the only way I know how. Not by carrying arms, but by carrying a message. Many of you have loved ones overseas who are fighting for their freedom, and yours, and mine. I'm sure you all believe in that fight and would wish to help those boys overseas. One way you can do this is to buy war bonds. Please, buy them till it hurts. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Long-winded, all right. I'll bet he got a cut of the money he collected.
He was a great speech maker.
He wasn't even American.
Sure he was. An educated man.
He wasn't no college man. Him and his phony English accent. I'll tell you who was an educated king, and that was Roger Payne, the hobo of the seas. What a man. What a thirst for knowledge.
Look more like a hobo than a sailor.
I'm known as the hobo of the seas.
Come on aboard.
Oh, he was just a bum. Wouldn't work, just a drunken wino. Hobo of the seas, a great philosopher. He traveled on land and sea in his search for knowledge.
Search for a bottle, don't you mean?
Why, he was just a bum. Now look, fellas, he was a great man.
A crooked force, grinding through the ultimate harmony of God's creation. What once was man and joy become funeral images, bathed in unreal light as the world is turned into a purgatory of sight and sound, rebounding in eternal retribution. More vintage, please. The band that held in judgment, the axes on which the double terror of love and hate spins and snaps, never to be sealed, and fury is loose.
Oh, he was just a bum. Wouldn't work, just a drunken wino.
Becomes inseparable from darkness, a darkness so complete that the undying
Thinking about the sea reminds me of a real clean hobo. That old King Cole. He sure was a character. He just loved his mud baths with the pigs.
Them hogs, they couldn't stand the smell of him.
Nah, his personality they couldn't stand.
Well, he loved them baths. Water was good for his joints. He never missed a chance to dip into them fountains of health, as he called them. King Cole was sort of like a doctor, you know, studying health habits and all. He even had a cure for baldness. Drank lots of sage tea.
Well, now, what sort of hobos worrying about getting bald?
Well, I'm telling you, King Cole was interested in anything about health.
Well, now, listen, fellas. How did he find them mud holes, huh?
Follow his nose, he used to say. And the pigs never let him down.
Bet you them hogs didn't go near that mud hole again.
Well, them mud holes kept King Cole healthy for years.
Not as healthy as Scoop Shovel Scotty. There was a healthy old coot. Lived to be 94.
Could have lived to be 130 if he hadn't drunk.
He was a real whiz on the scoop shovel. Made everybody happy with his music.
Made the dogs mad. Everyone within 10 miles took to howling.
I remember Scoop Shovel Scotty's farewell performance. A few days later, they was laying him and his shovels to rest. A sad day for us. Once said he was invited to Carnegie Hall. He wouldn't go. Bad for the hobo image. After poor Scotty passed on, there was no one to take his place. His lead saw Cannonball for the bid. He tried to keep the combo going, but 'twas no use.
Must have made all the dogs happy.
My favorite king was Beefsteak Charlie. He was practical. A famous gourmet chef. A hobo would never go hungry around him. He was always tossing a party for a few close friends.
Must have been close to eat the junk he served.
I'll never forget his recipe for potatoes and woodfin. Potatoes, bologna ends, carrots, onions, and anything with it.
Hell. He used to take too long to cook it. We had to wait too damn long.
That was his secret of success. A steady hand, a quick eye, and never rush to cooking.
Yeah, I hear he used to serve wine before the meal.
That's right. Yeah, always, yeah.
I'll bet you they took too much out of the bottle and not enough out of the pot.
No. You're talking about yourselves again.
I'm trying to think about that literary fellow. What was his name? Let's see now. Hairlip? Oh, yeah. The literary genius. Yeah. King Hairbreadth Harry. Of course, like all geniuses, he was a little bit preoccupied when he went to see his publisher.
Some sort of a litter bug, wasn't he?
Just forgetful is all. He wrote that book, Inner Tubes Come Clean. It was a real deep book. Yeah, Harry was a genius, all right. A real genius.
What's the title of that book mean?
Inner Tubes Come Clean. Well, it means, well, I don't know what it means, but it took him right to the top.
What did, the elevator?
You know, I don't even think Harry knew what the title or the book was about. One critic that read it said,
"It was surely written by a man of letters with a message to deliver, but unfortunately, he forgot the stamp."
I think that critic was right, somehow.
Those kings were only a small part of the hobo heritage. Today, the last of the American hobos try to keep alive the old traditions. The tiny roll call includes these colorful characters: Connecticut Slim, Pennsylvania Kid, Slow Motion Shorty, a Hard Rock Kid. There's the Brit Hotel. Years ago, the hobos held their convention at the hotel and elected their king. Now it's different since few hobos come here. They campaign in front of an audience, and the hobo who receives the loudest applause is crowned king. The only female hobo on hand is Boxcar Myrtle French. year's contest is between the Pennsylvania Kid, the Hard Rock Kid, Connecticut Slim, and Slow Motion Shorty. The Pennsylvania Kid ran on a ticket that he was a real hobo, while Connecticut Slim promised aid to the American woodpeckers if elected. Obviously, he was aiming at the bird lovers' vote. As for the female side of the hobos, there have been many famous names who have gained the title Queen of the Hobos. In August 1946, the first woman was elected queen. Up until then, young boys were crowned queen. This selection each year gave many citizens a second thought about hobos. They thought they were seducers of children. And if you listen to the hobo theme song, Big Rock Candy Mountain, you will understand why. So in 1946, it was decided to make a woman queen of the hobos.
You know, I'm a public doctor. Here's a copy of my book about Fred and the hobos. Myrtle knows all the answers. When you get to be my age, you'll know all the answers.
The election results for this year's convention was an overwhelming choice for Boxcar Myrtle Fringe as queen, and the honor of king was bestowed on Richard Wilson, otherwise known as a Pennsylvania Kid. After the election, thousands from a record crowd of 20,000 gather around a delicious mulligan stew. It's made from 200 gallons of water, 400 pounds of beef, and a half a ton of vegetables. No leftovers on this hobo delicacy. Many artists and painters have attended the convention, capturing with their skills the ways of the hobo. But as the number of hobos decreased, so did the artists.
Hobo acting crazy so he'll get free lodgings while the doctors examine him. This picture tells its own story. Hobos are born that way. The hobo loves his hat. It's his status symbol of being a gentleman. So he treats it lovingly.
I like this.
Many hobos would fake being ill and get free lodgings at the hospital, but they're afraid of the black bottle. They're scared of being put to sleep permanently with the medicine from the black bottle. They really think there is a black bottle. Hobos daydream too, you know. This one is rescuing a fair damsel in distress. Hobos are smart psychologists. They know how to play on a woman's emotions. This clever bum is putting on a great show of starvation. The poor woman is bound to offer him a meal, and maybe the job of reseeding her lawn. Anytime you see a hobo surrounded by maps, you know he's a greenhorn. Old-timers don't need maps, for they know any road they take is the right road. This one hates to beg. He feels
in the heyday of the hobo, his canvas was often a jail cell wall, the side of a boxcar, or beneath a viaduct. The hobo canvas usually reflected himself, nothing permanent. The first hobo convention to be held in Britt was way back in 1900, and it was destined to put Britt on the map. Over the years, the hobos have diminished, but the tourists have grown. Well, the convention is over as I walk with the king.
More people should become hobos and learn to be nice and warm to each other and not materialistic. People wouldn't have the headaches they have now if they lived the hobo philosophy. I am happy. I can't say I'm sad. For a smiling face wins the race, as one Chinese proverb puts it. I like people and they like me.
And then came the time when jobs could not be found. Men rode on the rails and they spread themselves around. They stole and they begged to fill a pot of stew. But now they are few, the last of the American hobos. They strayed from the fold, but some came back again, and many grew old and were bows to the end. And now the old ways are giving way to the new. And so they are few, the last of the American hobos. Gone to the past, now they leave it to the new breed. They are the last to bequeath it to the new seed. Well, they come at a time of protest and fears for mankind. With flowers and bare feet and peace, they march with their signs. Not as free as a hobo, for they have a thing they must do. And the years left a few to the last of the American hobos.
Son, come home. Me and your mama's prayed. Brothers and sisters miss you more than you'll ever know. So I looked for something within my mind that would take me home, but I couldn't find it. I knew there were other places I had to go. So I said, Daddy, oh Mama, brother and sister too. Don't you know there's something I gotta do now? Oh yeah, I gotta find me myself that knows only me. Then I'll be coming home to you. Oh. Well then I wrote him a letter and I sent it by mail. I unwound my little story tell. Told him that a young man had to travel on. Then I held up my chin and I stuck out my thumb. I started to whistle and it turned to a hum. I knew they thought my heart had turned to stone. Yeah, because I said, Daddy, Mama, brother and sister.